Darren Stevens did it again with the ball, taking 3 wickets in the space of 4 balls either side of lunch to upset Middlesex, who lost by 69 runs in spite of an incredible undefeated century from Jamie Dalrymple, as Kent won for the second successive match in Canterbury. All results were still possible going into an enthralling final day, with Kent resuming their second innings on 292 for 6 with a lead of 231. The day began badly for them though, as they lost James Treadwell to the 4th ball of the morning with the second new cherry. Stephen Finn had him taken behind by John Simpson, who then claimed a blinder in Finn's next over to dismiss Adam Ball for a duck. It gave the England bowler his 5th wicket. Middlesex could hardly have had a better start, with only 3 runs having been added, but Kent then fought back to Azhar Mahmood, who passed his previous best score of the summer of 70, and Matt Coles, who decided to take on Finn, who was looking to add to his wicket tally after he'd replaced Stephen Crook in this match on the second day after being released by his country. This pair now took the lead to 259. Tim Murtagh then produced a goodie to find the edge of Coles' bat after he'd made 15. Azhar was still hopeful of 100, and he had every chance with shots like this, which went all the way for 6. Alas for him, he was left stranded on 92 when Wahab Riaz was legged before to a nip-backer from Murtagh at the end of the first hour. Kent were all out for 332, their second highest total at Canterbury this season, with Finn taking 5 for 113. So Middlesex had 80 overs to score 272 runs to increase further their chances of promotion. Sam Robson got them moving in the right direction. Rob Key gave Coles a new ball for the first time in a year after he'd bowled well in the first innings, and he rewarded his captain by bowling Scott Newman in his second over. Newman hadn't troubled the scorers. It was not the start Middlesex would have wanted, of course, but Chris Rogers then joined Robson, and both batsmen settled in to take the total to 30 on the stroke of lunch. To what turned out to be the last ball before the interval, Stevens persuaded Robson to have a nibble at a delivery which he edged to Martin van Jaarsveld, but few would have expected what would happen immediately after the break. Stevens still had 4 balls to complete his over. With his first, he got David Malan, who went on the half drive and nicked behind. And after Neil Dexter had prevented the hat-trick, he fell next ball, edging an outswinger to van Jaarsveld. It was the Middlesex skipper's 3rd consecutive championship duck. Either side of lunch, Stevens had taken 3 in 4 balls to reduce Middlesex to 30 for 4, and that became 51 for 5 when Rogers, having watched the mayhem from the non-striker's end, gave Stevens his 4th wicket as he played across another swinging delivery to go leg before for 26. Already, Middlesex looked out of the game, but with so much time left, they were not in a position to just try to save it, so Simpson pulled Coles for a 6, while Dalrymple hit his replacement Treadwell back over his head for another maximum as Middlesex brought up 3 figures. Simpson had breezed his way to 19, but he then edged Riaz to Geraint Jones at 100 for 6. Tom Smith joined Dalrymple and blocked at one end, while his partner tried to keep going at the other, reaching his fine 50 with this shot. He'd needed 69 balls to get there. It was now a one-man show, with Smith hardly playing a shot in anger as he defended for his life. Dalrymple unleashed some superb shots to take his side to 144 for 6 at tea, still 126 runs away from their target. But again, the break did the visitors no favours. 19 balls into the evening session, Smith's long vigil, in which he'd scored 7 runs in 73 deliveries, was ended by Ball, who had him caught in the slips by Stevens. Their next ball, Murtagh was beaten by a beauty and bowled to leave Middlesex on 148 for 8. Now it was Finn's turn to block in support of the brilliant Dalrymple, who was single-handedly keeping his side in the game. Not even Stevens, with the older ball, could disturb him. It was an incredible effort for the former Glamorgan player, now in his second spell at Middlesex. He hadn't given up by any means as he drove Treadwell for another 6. And that helped him towards a wonderful back-to-the-wall 100, while his teammates could hardly score a run between them. He'd batted for 3 hours and had faced 150 deliveries to get there, farming the strike superbly. It was his second ton since his return, and he won't have played better than this too often. It was perhaps unfair on him that he ended up on a losing team. After nearly an hour of resistance in which he'd scored only 4, Finn was beaten by Treadwell and bowled. 82 was still needed, but having gone so far, Dalrymple probably believed that he could achieve the near impossible. He smashed Treadwell for his third 6 to move on to 108. But that is where he was left when a sharp turner bowled Corey Collymore to give Kent a victory by 69 runs. It was fitting that a number of their players delayed their celebrations in order to shake Dalrymple by the hand. He deserved all the plaudits, even though he ended on the losing team. Away from that, it was a superb win for the home side to follow up their victory over Surrey last week. The 20 points they achieved from this game was still not enough to lift them up the table, but they have closed the gap on others and virtually handed Leicestershire the wooden spoon in the process. This was only the second defeat of the season for Middlesex, who in spite of collecting only 6 points are still very well placed for promotion. They stay in second and are still 22 points clear of their nearest challenger, and they still have a game in hand.